that you need to focus are this and this, primarily because of the Antrix Devas team. Okay, and these are some of the departments. So there are lots of departments, I think 20 plus departments. So I've tried to classify them into 2-3 categories so that it is easy for us to study. So as you can see, a lot of proposal from ISRO through the Department of Space gets actually discussed at the Space Commission. Okay, so though technically they report to the Prime Minister, but the real discussion, the threadbare discussion happens at the Space Commission. Now look at the level of Space Commission. It is considered almost on par with the PM and even above, one level above the Department of Space. Can someone tell me who constitute the Space Commission? You know, logically, if you think about who do you think would be the members of Space Commission? So I'll give you a clue. Suppose you think of all the senior civil servants, which department civil servants do you think will find a seat in this table? Former chairman of ISRO, that's a good, it is true, Abhishek, they do. And eminent scientists also are part of it. But if you think about the clue that I have mentioned of very good vision, NSA is an indispensable part of Space Commission because space for all for all practical purposes, it is used for security reasons. A large part of the budget goes for security and military applications. Who else do you think other than NSA? Scientific advisor, cabinet secretary, all of that is correct, guys. The scientific advisor to the Prime Minister, because space means, think about it, when something goes to the space, what are all the things we can do? You can look at the border areas, yeah, between India and China, which means if something repercussion happens on the border area, which bureaucrat will have to be answered? Exactly, foreign secretary. So foreign secretary is there. And you can also look at some of the internal aspects also. So home secretary will be there. In order to all this, you need money. So finance secretary will be there. The PM himself may not be physically present. So who will represent the PM? The principal secretary to the Prime Minister will represent. For all the decisions taken across so many senior bureaucrats, obviously you will require the senior most of the senior bureaucrats, which is the cabinet secretary. And as Abhishek said, you will also have certain eminent scientific personalities who are also invited. Okay, yeah, he is anyway there. Secretary, Department of Space is your ISRO chairman, so he is anyway there. In addition to it, you have all these bureaucrats, scientists, and senior civil servants cutting across important ministries, which benefit out of the space technology. Okay. This we have mentioned. Yeah, Space Commission. I have just discussed this. Key agencies of ISRO. So there are lots of them. I thought one way to remember is to kind of divide them into the type of role that they perform. Type of role. So I've divided the type of role into 4 types. Purely research facilities. Purely research facilities. So in that you have Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. So Dr. Somnath is the ex-head of Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. Liquid Propulsion Systems Center, both in Trivandrum, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center and Liquid Propulsion Systems Center. Then you have Space Application Center. SAC is Space Application Center. PRL is Physical Research Laboratory. Physical Research Laboratory. So as the name suggests, Physical Research Laboratory, space application. So you will have mathematicians and physicists and some of them being engineering experts, dwelling deep into the research. That is your research facility. Test facility. So there are a lot of test facilities, but the most important test facility is the ISRO Propulsion Complex in Mahendragiri. So Mahendragiri comes under the district called Tirunelveli. Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu. This is where all your booster rockets, the engines, the entire engine testing happens here. The cryogenic engine testing happened here. Yeah, so this is a highly secure. It's quite a scenic place. If you see, it is sandwiched between two mountain ranges actually. So that's your ISRO propulsion complex. Construction and launch facility. Construction and launch facility. So SDSC is Satish Dhawan Space Center, which was earlier called as SHAR, Sriharikota. Yeah, Sriharikota range. And Sriharikota, as you may be aware, it is the Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh, not very far from Chennai, if you see, on the sandbar of the Pulikat Lake. Yeah, so if you get time, just look at the location of Sriharikota. It's always helpful. TERLS. TERLS is Tumba Equatorial Rocket Launch Station. Tumba Equatorial Rocket Launch Station. And Tumba is in the outskirts of Trivandrum. So that means this Tumba is very close to this guy. Yeah, Tumba Equatorial Rocket Launch Station. UR Rao Satellite Center and Laboratory for Electro-Optic System. So both of them in Bangalore. So SDSC in Sriharikota, TERLS in Tumba, which is near Trivandrum, and these things in Bangalore. A very important facility, which is, I would say, the brain, the nervous system after the satellite is launched or after the launch vehicle lifts off. That is your master control facility. So the first master control facility was in Hassan, Karnataka, and supplement to it is the second master control facility in Bhopal. in Bhopal. Now, what do they do? So when I say master control facility, what is it that they do? They have the ability to maneuver the rocket, yeah, while it is taking off, and after it reaches the orbit, from these packing stations, you can do some maneuver to change the altitude of the spacecrafts. Okay, so that's your tracking and control facility. Then comes your Indian Deep Space Network. Indian Deep Space Network. This is dedicated for, it's a specialized center for interplanetary exploration related, which means when we are sending a Chandrayaan or a Gaganyaan, or in future if we send Aditya towards the sun, then the Indian Deep Space Network has a very important